Okay, me, Z. If you remember from my last video on my Paladin, I said I was going to do a special video where I talked about the talents for all three specs. And here it is. Okay, let's get started. Okay, honor talent, you have no choice. Once you get a point, you just have to follow the little laid out. So, alright, so the retribution. Let's look at the first line. Alright. I'm going to mouse over it so you guys can read what it does. Alright. Now, this is a double-edged thing to me. In other words, this is your single target attack. So you've increased the power of that, I did. And this is your multi-target attack. Okay. Now, this is another one where you add, instead of increasing something, you would add another attack to your bar. In other words, you have another thing you have to do in your rotation. Now, when I look at this, I don't like it because the simple fact is that it's 3 holy power. It's like, okay, holy power is tough to come by, and trying to figure out which one you want to use, whether you want to use your single or whatever. My point is I don't get that. This used to be part of all the Paladin specs, but now the only specs that have it as default are your holy and your tanking. Okay, your protection and your holy have it as a default. But here's the thing. I wouldn't take this if, and I say if, they change the way it works. The way I think they should have made this work is when you consecrate the ground around you, that all targets that are standing on your consecrate, instead of taking damage like it says it does, I would say it should buff your damage to the targets. In other words, you drop consecrate, they're on it, and your damage to them is buffed by X amount of percent for so many seconds. And the reason I say this is because when I'm out questing, because at level 110 you still are questing. I mean, you could probably level another 10 levels for the amount of questing you do. You really don't want to drop something like that or hit an AoE of any sort if you're fighting a mob that has a bunch of yellow mobs around it, because you'll aggro them. And I know some people say, well, what's the point? Just kick their ass too. Point is, at 110, everything is 110. So you can pull too many as a DPSer and get your butt handed to you really quickly. So it's something you have to be aware of. How many can you handle at one time? Because some mobs, you can handle a bunch of them, no problem at all. Some mobs, if they sneeze at you, you're at half health. It's just the way the game has been designed. So you have to keep this in mind. So, like I said, if there's an interaction with this on your DPS, I would take it, other than just damage. And the reason I say this is because when I get to protection, you're going to see that they have an interaction with this. Okay? Alright, now moving on. Okay. Okay. Alright, so there's what that does. This is what I took. Now I know, and then you got this. Now, some people would say to take that. I've actually had someone tell me that that's better. But I've seen it, my judgment still hits 2 targets. It may not hit 3, but it hits 2. And it may not always be a guaranteed crit when I'm throwing it. But in my mind, judgment has a cooldown, see? And if you take this off and go back to your Crusader Strike, which is, if you're up there, what it replaces, it also has a cooldown. So you're going to be standing around with not much to do. I mean, and that's why people. That it depends on how you want to play it. It's all about the player. Me, I just want to be able to make sure I've always got something off a cooldown to hit because I feel like if I gotta wait for something to come off cooldown, I'm wasting time, and I'm not doing DPS. That's just me. Now, this it does exactly what it says. And the Hammer of Justice is just your stun. Okay. Okay. This is basically a sap that you could use from distance. The best way of putting it. And then this just does damage and blinds everybody. This actually I like because it can be actually used as an interrupt. Because your interrupt has a cooldown that's too long on DPS. Then you go here. I decided to go for the dot. I didn't like this for the same reason I didn't take Consecrate, because the simple fact is, if I'm fighting one single mob, something whirling around me can easily aggro other mobs that I was not intending to aggro, and that is, I'm always leery of that. Okay. In other words, you're adding another attack. This is also another thing you add, but I can tell you that this has actually saved my butt. Okay, in PvE, not just PvP, because the simple fact is I was in a normal dungeon and we lost we lost a healer, a survival hunter. Then it was just me, a beastmaster, and a monk tank left. The beastmaster finally died. I kept the monk tank up as long as I could by using lay on hand and some of my shielding stuff. And then he died, and it became me and the boss. So I popped this and I popped that, and I was still able to drop the boss before he could drop me. So I saved the wipe because of that. So, and I would take that, except for the only problem is that, like I said, I've seen where the other one has saved my butt so many times. I just don't feel like this is better than this. And the reason I say that is because of the resource that it requires. If it took mana, yeah, I would take it because it'd be no problem, because you just pop it whenever you have to. But the fact that you have to generate 3 holy power in a situation like I just talked about when I saved that wipe, I was using all my holy power to do as much damage as I could to take that boss down, because I'm not a tank, and I knew as soon as he got one good hit on me, I was done for. So I had to make sure I threw everything I had at him while I had my defenses up. And even though you could heal yourself with this, you're sacrificing damage to heal yourself. This protected me enough to keep me alive, so as I could get the hits I needed to take him out. Just the way I look at it. Okay, this I like, because I this has saved me a lot of times in PvE too, because something goes wrong and I get knocked somewhere I shouldn't have got knocked, and all of a sudden I would have been dead. This, instead, I'm not. So I like that. That, to be perfectly honest, I don't even see why we even have that talent. I mean, you can mount up and ride for a few seconds. Usually what that means is the tank runs off from the healer because they hit the little charge, the little horse, run off and pull more mobs, and the healer's got to do their best to try to catch up with them to keep them alive. Hello? Well, that's all we want to do. We want to give them something so they can get further away from the healer. And so, yeah, people don't think about that. I've seen tanks damn near die. I've actually seen tank. I actually in one instance I was in, I seen a tank die because he did exactly that. He ran up the stairwell, pulled mobs. The healer was going as fast as he could to get to him, but the healer couldn't get to him in time, and he was dead. We didn't wipe, but we almost did because of that. And it's just so yeah, give him an ability to run away from everybody. No. Yes, let me see. I want to use up my holy power so I can move faster. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, you read what I read, so it's like, okay, that works really good because I've actually done had where I've had three, four of these in a row because of that procking. So yeah, that's nice. Now, I find this one hilarious because when you read it at the very bottom, maximum 15 stacks. Increases your damage and haste by 3.5% for 20 seconds. Each holy power spent during the crusade increases the damage, da 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 da, whatever. Now, they're telling you a maximum of 15 stacks. Okay, newsflash here 20 seconds. I don't think you could even hit the 15 stack maximum in that time frame, and then you get a 2 minute cooldown. I mean, really, sounds cool and all that, but it's a 3 minute cooldown. I mean, if I'm low on health, and I'm a DPSer, so I should never really be that low on health for it to actually do anything. I mean, because it says oh you're missing health. So if I'm at full health, that's not gonna do nothing. Where this would. So what the? Who thought that's up? I mean, really? Okay, we'll give a DPS or something that can do 200% of their missing health to four targets. Okay, unless I'm the dumbest DPSer in the world, standing in the wrong place. Hello? That's useless. What's that, a placeholder for when you think of something to put there? Really? Okay, now, Ashbringer. Okay, and as you can see, like I said, she's now unlocked all her stuff, so she has unlocked all these. She unlocked a third one there. Now, I'm going to show you. Obviously, we start off with this. And then you go down. You have to go this way. I mean, they make it so a lot of times you have no other way of going. Now, the funny thing is that a lot of these things are just three ranks. Some of these you can rank out to four or five if you use one of these. All right. If I get another one of these, I'm going to replace it with if I get it something else that I don't have. See, because this is doesn't get any stronger. 20% damage. It just isn't going to make it any stronger. So this is actually doing nothing. It's giving me more item levels to my weapon, but it's actually not improving my Divine Storm at all because I've exceeded the three. So I wish what they would do with this would be like when you put this on, it would refund one of the I guess called talents, so that you could put that talent somewhere else because you now have it maxed out with this. So I mean, let's face it. Now I know why they don't do that. because they're afraid that what's going to happen is eventually you'll replace this, and then all of a sudden you go from 3 to 2, and then it doesn't make the chain correctly. Then I suggest that what they would do is when you add this, and it just gives you a talent point to put somewhere else, and this stays at 3. So that you can like increase something else with a talent point. If you got 3 talents here and you add this, you know, then you just get an extra talent to put somewhere else. In other words, don't increase it to 4 because you're not you're not adding, making it stronger. That's what a good way of putting it. It's not getting any stronger, so why? Okay, I'm gonna mouse over these so you can like pause if you want to read these. And I gotta move my horse a little bit so that you know I don't go a-okay. Okay. Okay, I think that's one of those where I actually have, yeah. And see, again, what they've done here is they made it so that I can actually say, oh, I can go to 4 ranks with it. But it's never going to exceed what it would be for 3. You see, so again, and this has been done, and it's the same thing. You go to 4 ranks with this, but it's never going to exceed what I would get with 3. So now that is really nice. I've talked about that in one of my videos before about that. That is actually nice. And then this is really nice because you actually now be able to put a dot and you get holy power generated from it. So, I mean, if you guys have any ideas of how to you think I could change up my spec and why it would be better to do it in a certain way, by all means, leave a comment about this. All right, now I'm going to switch over to the holy spec. Yeah, holy healer. All right. Yes, I have a 100 point. Oh, okay, we'll put it here. Well, you know. Alright. Now, let's go to the talents for holy. Okay, I gotta be honest with you. I am not sure what I should take on holy. A lot of this I've been just kind of like scratching my head going, well, that sounds good. Well, that sounds good. So, like I said, once you review this, if you kind of like see something that you think I could change, hey, comments. All right. I made that because it actually what I wish that was okay. Remember on the ret you had the consecrate. I wish instead of this little thing, they had the interaction with consecrate. Okay, consecrate right here. It's part of the holy spec. But look what it does. Alright, it does damage. I wish that this talent made consecrate do exactly what this says. Okay? Now, that would be awesome. Because now you're taking something you already have and then you're improving it. You're giving it a better interaction. That's what I wish they would do. It's what they really should do. I mean, they could call it the same thing. It just changes consecrate over to this. And now you don't have this and consecrate, but you just have consecrate, but it has a new interaction, you know. Now, the problem with this is that if you're, because you're a proximity healer as a paladin, it sounds like it's a good idea to me. But the downside of this is if you get a dumb group, and I know you guys know what I'm talking about. If you play this game for any time, you know what I mean when I say a dumb group. You're focusing on using your heals to try to keep them from getting killed because they forgot that they need to move. So you can't be doing hitting shit with your Crusader Strike. So yes, it would help you when you're out questing by yourself and all this stuff, but in a group, a dumb group could make it where it goes against you. Again, oh look, I have something so I can chase down the tank. Yeah, but this to me is kind of better because of just the last part of it. And lay on hand by 30%. You're a healer. You're going to be using lay on hand more than you want to use lay on hand, sadly. Because, and so these are things that where it's kind of like, And then you got this. See, that's where this is what I was talking about sometimes where I'm like, I have to go, what are you people thinking? Okay. I have to choose between being able to have my lay on hand more available to me or choose whether I can be further away. See, the choices. And like I said, and this is identical to Ret. Everything here is identical to Ret. Now this one is absolutely hilarious. Okay, now that's pretty cool. Now this, I gotta admit, I just, face, hand, palm, whatever you want to call it, when I read this and went, what are you thinking? Okay. Wow, you're above 75% health. 10% of all damage taken by allies within 10 yards is redirected to you. I'm the healer. Let's see. I'm going to be standing there and getting my butt whooped from damage while I'm trying to heal people. But it's only going to do you hit 75% health. Yes, and then the boss turns around while I'm trying to heal somebody and don't notice it hits me for something that takes 75% of my health and I'm dead. Really? I don't think that's a good ideal. I really think that's kind of like, are you crazy? And then this one is hilarious. I took it, in which I'm actually going to change to this one. But I took this because, it actually is kind of cool when you activate this. But, okay, the bad thing about this is, look at the heal. 3,876 health to injured allies every second. Okay, look at my health. I have 1,536,000 health. Really? I wouldn't even call that a heal. My bandages do better than that. I'm not joking either, look. It's like 40-some thousand heal per second when you use one of these. Oh, I can bandage somebody better than that. That's stupid. What were they thinking? Now I know somebody's going to say, well, they were thinking that you would use it in conjunction with this, and it's like Chocoli or something like, or the one thing that monks have. Okay, that's a good idea. Don't get me wrong. But then just make the talent this. You talent for this, and then you have it, or just make this part of the spec, which it is, and don't even have to have this talent here. I mean, it's not doing anything. You're just saying, oh, when you act. See, every one of these have an interaction with this. When you do something, when you hit that, these change and do something magnificent. In truth, this should just do what this says, you know, regardless. Because I think every healer now has a 3 minute so cooldown thing that does a massive AoE heal. So what you're saying is a healer, if I want to have that, I've got to take this talent. But other healers already have it by default. Hello? What were you people thinking? Okay. That actually sounds nice. You could actually get a couple of those. So it's kind of one of it's 6 to one hand, half a dozen the other. How you want to do it. Again, that's another thing too. I like this, but in truth, I think that's probably the better one. And then you got this. Now, I don't like using this. The fact that that does exactly what it says. Okay, and you can only use it on another person, and it doesn't do anything like the beacon. Okay, I'll let you read what beacon does. Since you don't get any effect off it, in other words, if you throw it in a tank and you got yourself beacon, or if you got the tank beacon, well, yeah, you have to do it that way. If you throw it in a tank and you got yourself beacon and you're getting hit, taking AOE damage, or somebody else's beacon, they're not going to get anything from it. The tank's going to get something. You're going to take damage, but you're not going to get healed from it. I don't like that. I honestly don't. Okay. Let's see, where were we at? Okay, here we are. Yeah. Alright. Another one of those where you have to kind of scratch your head, whether you have to look at all these things, and then I did it. Now, this I did because I'm close range, and so I can tab target the boss and just pop a judgment on him, and that allows me to freaking continue healing with my heal bot, and the judgment does what you read. Now, it's not a lot, but it's a little bit, and every little bit helps. And when you factor it in when you're using this and this, you are making some heals. So together they're getting about, what, 10k heals. So that's not bad. Not good, but it's not bad. I mean, so you're with those two combined, you're getting about 10k heals, in which, like I said, it's just one of those things. I mean, unless you're constantly using this, which only has a 2 minute cooldown, so in other words, that's only going to be good for every 2 minutes. You see, so. Alright. I thought about using this, but then it reduces the effect to like 20%. Okay? So basically, your beacons people don't really get anything. They get a real small heal compared to what they would have gotten. So it's a nice idea, but I think the penalty for having it is way, way too bad. And then I decided to take this. Because if I beacon the tank, then it means that people, the melee DPSers, are going to be able to be healed better. Because the fact is they are next to the beacon. So that's the reason why I chose that. And then apply a beacon of light. But see, here's the problem. you have to keep reapplying it, and that uses up your mana, and that could make. And I'm not one of those where I gotta kind of keep reapplying, keep reapplying kind of thing. Not a big deal. Now I'm going to show you the weapon, but as you know, she's a retribution is my primary spec, and so therefore I started with this. I have, however, I will show you, because I have been lucky enough to get, unbelievably, doing the world quest, I have been able to actually get that from a drop. I got that from a world quest, and so I've been able to actually put some decent augments, basically. So that's the holy spec. Now let's go into protection, and I can talk to you about consecrate, how they did an interaction with it. Now, before I, all right. Well, that's great. When people beat the crap out of you, you get stronger. Cool. All right. Now I'm going to show you what you start off with here. I'm going to do it backwards this time. And the reason why is because this weapon is very basic. I haven't been able to, because it takes specific, relics to boost it. And I'm only be able to boost it with that because of, So, that's the basic relic. Okay. Now, yeah, beautiful scenery. Now I want to show you the talents that I took. Okay. Now the reason I took this was because you can read what it does. It allows you to block spells. And to me that's really nice. Anything I can block means less damage I'm taking, no matter what it is. That just means you're doing something different than you normally would do. Okay, now this sounds terrific when you know what they're talking about. And I find it, okay, now you read that and you're like, so it just does what consecrate does. Yes, but the interaction they're talking about is this. That's what I was talking about when I was talking about my ret on the ret spec. There's an interaction here in the tanking that you don't have if you take it, and that's what I mean. They should, and also with holy, there should be an interaction. Okay. I like this because what Grand Crusader does. And then, of course, this is, again, the same as it was for red. They honestly could not come up with anything different for that. That sad, isn't it? I'll be honest with you. I honestly am not the kind of person that can be like, oh, the healer's taking damage from an AoE. I'll throw this on to protect him. I'm more focused when I'm tanking on trying to keep aggro, so that would just be something that I would never do. And again, I can run away from the healer and die. And believe it or not, there are kind of AoE melee attacks. So this actually is kind of good because your DPS, your melee DPSers are eventually are going to get hit by AoE melee attacks because there's no way to avoid it because they're morons. And this actually will help you get keep aggro because it's just going to basically hit the mob back and say, you're supposed to hit me. I'm actually thinking of going to take this off and go with this, but it's going to replace this. See, unfortunately, if I replace that, that means I could use it on any player, basically. Which, in my mind, I was like, I don't know. And see, I thought about this, but I gotta be honest with you. If the fact is I gotta pop my bubble to stay alive, that's, I don't know. I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things. I know I'm gonna drop this, but I'm not sure which way I'm gonna go. Like I said, Rhett's my primary spec, so yeah, but the fact that you have to channel it means you can't do anything else. And I like that because that means I'm getting a little heal back to myself because I'm getting beat on. See, that should be a healer thing. Why is that on protection? I have no clue why they did not give that to the healers. Now, why would I do that? Interaction of this. So why would I want to steal the ability to do that so I could do this? That's another one of those, what were you thinking? Let me just take away the thing that reduces the damage I take just so I can, I don't know, do a little more damage? What? I love this. I'm reading it and rereading it because it makes no sense to me. Each enemy within 8 yards reduces the damage that you take and increases the damage that you deal by 3%. So I do more damage to them, they do 3% less damage to me. Or I can have this come off cooldown faster and be able to heal myself. I don't know. Let me see. What are you people thinking of writing this crap? Come on, people. If you're gonna do talents, do talents. Okay. Well, that was all of them. So, I will see you later. Remember, if you got comments, please leave them because I want to know. Because some of this stuff confuses me really, really bad.